The grand hall of Emberfall's Sanctum of Flame was bathed in a warm golden light. Sunlight streamed through stained glass windows, casting fiery hues upon the polished stone floor. The air shimmered with heat, and at the heart of the chamber, an eternal flame crackled, a symbol of the land's powerful magic. Seated in a half-circle around the fire were the members of the Order of the Flame, a council of elder mages charged with the protection and preservation of Emberfall. Each wore robes adorned with the sigil of the blazing phoenix, and their expressions were marked by deep worry as they pondered the decision they had already made. Eldrick, the eldest and most respected among them, broke the uneasy silence. "Kaelen is on his way," he said, his voice heavy with both hope and apprehension. "The shard of Emberfall must be reclaimed, or all we have fought to protect will fall into shadow." Master Lenora sighed, her stern demeanor unable to hide the doubt in her eyes. "He is still a student, Eldrick," she said, shaking her head. "Hardly more than a boy. His fire magic is unreliable, and the corruption in Shimmerwood grows fiercer with each passing day." Eldrick's gaze remained fixed on the eternal flame, watching it flicker and dance. "Yet his potential is undeniable," he replied. "Astra, the dragon spirit, chose him, binding herself to his soul. There is a power in their bond that even we cannot fully grasp. It may be the only chance we have." Master Thalos, who had been listening intently, finally spoke. His deep voice carried a somber weight. "And what of the dangers that await him? The Shadow Cabal's dark influence spreads like a poison, twisting the forest into a place of nightmares. Their agents are cunning and relentless." Lenora's lips thinned. "And then there is the Obsidian Wraith," she said, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Once a noble guardian of Emberfall, now a creature of pure destruction. If Kaelen encounters it—" She didn't finish the thought, but the fear in her voice said enough. The room seemed to grow colder at the mention of the Wraith. Master Thalos cleared his throat, his deep voice echoing through the grand hall. "That is the one danger we cannot overlook, the Obsidian Wraith. It was not always a creature of darkness. Once it was one of us, a guardian chosen by the dragon spirits themselves." The other council members looked at him intently, even those who had heard fragments of the tale before. Eldrick, however, stared into the flickering eternal flame, a solemn expression on his face. This was a history rarely spoken, but one that weighed heavily on the Order. "Long ago," Thalos continued, "when the land's magic was young and the shards were newly formed, each was entrusted to a guardian, chosen by dragon spirits to defend Emberfall's power from any who would abuse it. The Obsidian Wraith was once a warrior mage, revered for his strength and loyalty, and he was the last of his kind to receive a dragon spirit bond." Master Lenora's voice softened as she added, "But the spirit that chose him was unlike the others. It was different, a shadowed spirit, an entity that had once dwelled in the depths of a cursed volcano beyond Emberfall's borders. Some believe it was tainted by ancient dark magic that seeped into its essence, corrupting it." Eldrick's gaze hardened. That dragon spirit bound itself to the mage willingly, knowing that he was a proud and powerful warrior. At first, it appeared to enhance his strength. The Obsidian Guardian, as he was called then, was relentless, his magic sharper and stronger than any of us could wield. But the spirit's influence grew insidious. It whispered to him, urging him to take more power, to seek control over the shards themselves. Master Thalos took a deep breath. In time, that spirit's darkness twisted the Guardian's heart. His loyalty turned to obsession. The power that once protected Emberfall became a poison, spreading through his soul and corrupting the very magic that bound him to the land. The dragon spirit fed on his ambitions, amplifying his desire for dominance until he was consumed by it. The council fell silent, each member lost in the grim memory. Eldrick continued, his voice barely above a whisper. The darkness within the spirit seeped into the land, spreading like a curse. The Obsidian Guardian, now driven mad by his own power, began calling upon dark magic, channeling it through his connection to the shard. But instead of empowering the land, his magic leached the vitality from it, poisoning the soil, the trees, the water. Thus the Obsidian Wraith was born, Thalos concluded, his voice trembling slightly. No longer a guardian, but a creature of shadow, his form twisted by the dark magic of the dragon spirit. He wanders Shimmerwood endlessly, guarding the corrupted shard with a relentless fury, attacking any who dare approach. The Wraith now embodies everything the Order fears, a being lost to ambition and darkness, whose presence poisons the land with every step. Eldric's gaze lifted to meet his fellow council members. And this is the creature Kaelen may face. If he crosses paths with the Wraith, he will encounter more than just a beast of shadow. He will face a warrior who was once chosen, a mage whose spirit fell to darkness, and that, perhaps, is the greatest test of all. A heavy silence settled over the council as the gravity of Eldric's words sank in. Kaelen's task was already formidable, but to face a creature bound by dark magic, a guardian corrupted by its own dragon spirit, it was a fate they would not wish upon any mage, much less one still finding his strength. In that moment, the eternal flame seemed to flicker, casting shadows that whispered of betrayal and loss, of power twisted into poison. The council members exchanged solemn glances, each understanding the weight of the task they had placed on Kaelen's shoulders, and the danger that awaited him if he failed.